Thank you for joining us tonight, continuing our special program, remembering the life of Councilwoman Kay Daniels-Cohen. After years of battling cancer, Daniels-Cohen passed away Thursday, February 20th, at the age of 71. Back in November 2011, Kay was elected as Councilwoman for Ward 3 and re-elected in November 2013. Daniels-Cohen is remembered for her bold spirit, her many contributions to the community, and passion to serve her constituents. Tonight we hear from those who loved her, inspired her life, and also the city that she loved best. Right here I have with me Councilman Seth Grimes. Thank you so much. I'm very sorry for your loss. There were a lot of things that described, a lot of people that described Kay tonight. One of them was that she was a person who spoke her mind. She didn't hold back. How true is that statement? I mean, you worked side by side with her.
Yeah, Kay, people have said over and over again how enthusiastic Kay was, how determined she was, and she did speak her mind, and she wasn't afraid to really express herself in a personal way, bring in her own quirkiness even to her job. She realized who she was. She didn't try to hide it. She didn't try to be anyone else, and that's what really made it a special joy working with her. Because you knew that when she supported something that you were working on, when she was working for other people, you knew it was genuine. It wasn't feigned. It wasn't some kind of posture. It wasn't something she was just doing in order to get someplace else. She really believed it. That was why it was so wonderful working with Kay.
Thank you so much. Well, we're going to look at a clip now at when Kay was first elected to the council. I'm here with Councilmember Kay Daniels-Cohen, and she's of Ward 3. Could you tell me, how are you feeling tonight?
Oh gosh, I'm going to really be honest, overwhelmed. This was a pretty impressive and heartfelt ceremony. Everyone spoke right from their hearts, and it went into my heart. And it was wonderful to hear all the accolades for all the people that have been here and been on the council before, and the ones that are still going to be on the council.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Now, you said that it feels like you just won an Oscar. Can you tell me, what does this position mean to you?
It's one of those things I dreamed about from the time I was a little kid. Mm-hmm. So all of a sudden, I've actually gotten there. I've run for offices before, but they were student government. I mean, years ago at University of Maryland, I always won. But this is serious business. I'm affirming and swearing to constitutional law and upholding the laws of the city of Takoma Park. It's pretty serious business. So it was like winning an Oscar. It was just the support and the folks that came out and actually, did what they had to do to get me elected was really breathtaking. It was really fun.
Now, I know you are a major advocate in the city, and you have that history. What is something that you really want to be pushing for in your term?
I think, let's see, for the city, the tax duplication, the fact that we pay taxes to the city and to Montgomery County for the same thing. I want to see what we can do about that. The other thing for Ward 3 is actually continuing the process with the junction, Takoma Junction, with the co-op and all the small stores on Carroll Avenue, and returning them to a real viable group of stores. They used to be that way. I've been here since 1946. I used to shop in those little stores when I was a little kid and a medium kid and a big kid, and they can be there that way again.
That's great. Okay, well, we look forward. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And please keep it here for more interviews. A historical moment for Takoma Park when Kay was entered into the council. Now we'll be hearing from some of her supporters.
May was very important to us because she created the Neighbors Helping Neighbors called Sherman Elders in her neighborhood, which is for seniors in her neighborhood, people helping each other in disease and whatever they need. She was a supporter for the senior village in Takoma Park, which is called Takoma Park Village, and she helped us to get a community outreach person who hopefully will arrive soon to work for us, for the seniors.
I didn't know her personally, but I had just always heard such good things about her, and she was a council member for the district. My son, Marco, and Jenny DePaul, they lived in her district, you know, so I think she not only was a great person, but a wonderful council member, too, for their district. I think they were very pleased with her.
Kay had a very special relationship with the library. She was actually really responsible for our being open on Sundays. This was something she wanted and talked about for a long time, and so for the last, since July, we've been open on Sundays. She helped at the Friends of the Library book sales, and we have this poetry event in April every year, the favorite poem evening, and she would come and read poetry. She would dress up in costume, and sometimes Buddy would come with her, her brother. And she even came one year on her birthday, so we gave her a birthday cake at that event. Before she was on the city council, she was involved with the Friends of the Library book discussions, and she would read all the books and come with all these notes and make very astute observations. She was really a very committed, energetic person, and a big reader. Really liked the library, and a wonderful friend to us, and just so positive in so many ways about everything. We're really going to miss her a lot.
Kay Daniels-Cohen, she is just such an inspiration to me and all of us in Takoma Park. But a few things that I do remember specifically, I was invited to join the Recreation Committee where I met Kay, and I could not believe this dynamic woman who stood up for we must do this, and she was so much for the citizens of all ages of Takoma Park. And then she found out about Takoma Plays, what we've been doing, and she said, I'll be at your next play day. And there she was, dressed from head to toe in her tiara and her beads and her pink socks, and it was just wonderful. And she's been so supportive all along of not just what we do, but what everyone does, and for the people of Takoma Park. We miss her so much, and we were so fortunate to have the time we had with Kay.
Standing beside me here is Council Member Fred Schultz. Thank you so much for coming out here tonight. I know this night means a lot to you. I mean, you work closely with Kay side by side.
Yes.
Some of the things that were said about her was that she was a relentless advocate. What do you have to say about that? I mean, I know you probably know more than anyone, being her peer and all.
Kay was not one who really wanted to get down into the weeds or the details or trouble herself about some of the subtleties, which is the sort of thing that sometimes I like to do and sometimes I can get bogged down in. She was the kind of a person that sort of understood what the big picture was and what the goal was. And she just kept, oftentimes she would just say, let's just get something done. She says, I can't understand why it's taking so long. We need action. And it wasn't coming from, a typical politician's mouth. You might say, oh, well, this is just a person trying to be clever. But Kay was never clever. She was just always herself. And this is just the way she thought. This is the way she felt. She was just a literal can-do person. If it's something that's worth doing, let's just do it, because we all know what's the right thing to do. And in that sense, that's where the relentlessness came from.
And it was a beautiful ceremony here tonight. We actually have celebration beads for her,
right.
For her
These
life.
were the beads, and she was a very colorful person. She dressed the part, and it was not an act. She was never an actress. She was never trying to be somebody she wasn't. In fact, what you saw with Kay Daniels-Cohen was Kay Daniels-Cohen. It was just pure sincerity, and I never heard her ever say a critical thing about somebody. A lot of times you can be positive in public, and then in private you can, say to somebody behind closed doors something negative. She never heard her ever breathe a negative word about a single solitary soul in our community. And that's always to me a very, very telling sign of a person's integrity.
Very admirable.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time. I really, really appreciate it. And we're going to continue on with the program, see some footage from Earth Day with Akili Brown.
Thank you very much, Kay, for talking with us.
Oh, you're so welcome.
So, Kay, can you tell us why Earth Day is so important to you?
Well, it's about people being aware of the earth and taking care of her and giving back to her and not just taking things away from her. This all started in 1970 in New York City in Central Park. They developed something called New Games. I was a physical education instructor at West Virginia University at the time and utilized that whole book of New Games forever in all of my physical education experiences. And this year is the 43rd annual Earth Day. Why it's important to Takoma Park is this is my dream, to have all these people here involved in the junction, here together, sharing each other's experiences, the children, the dogs, the moms, the dads, the old ones, the young ones, everybody. So.
And as far as getting this being Takoma Park's first Earth Day, what went into making this a reality?
This really isn't it their first Earth Day. The co-op had done Earth Days, I don't know how many prior to, where they'd have their little flea market over here and their plant sale over there, and I would try and get people down in the shops down there about, it was probably 6-7 years ago. I get my little plants out and my little dish gardens and try and sell them. I've got a juggler to get people across the street. What went into this was Old Takoma Business Association actually took it over. I think they contracted it out, worked in partnership, and that's what's most exciting about everything that's happening in Takoma Park. It's partnership. It's not just one person, it's partnership. It's groups of people working together to take care of business.
It's a true community.
Yes.
Yeah, true community effort.
Yes.
And are you happy with the turnout?
Oh my gosh, my heart is like full. My heart is full because this really was my dream, to have all these people up here together and sharing this space. This has kind of been a little tiniest bit overlooked in some years, and the space here is a pretty important space. It's not as big as up in Old Town, but it's still an important space.
So it's safe to say that this year's Earth Day recognition or celebration is a success.
Spectacular. I mean, historic Takoma had speakers, they had their business open, they had people talking about environmental issues and other, state and county issues, and had a large crowd down there, and that's what's really exciting, to have everybody on the line here all working together.
So going forward, are there any things in particular you would like to see, anything special, or would you just like to see the tradition continue?
I want the tradition to continue. Earth Day will always happen. I don't think our conservationists and environmentalists will let it not happen. That's fine. But I know Old Takoma Business Association has planned, I think, at least 3 other closing down Upper Grant and having some kind of a festival in here in the next 3 months, once a month for the next 3 months. That's what's really hooked us in. The Takoma Junction Task Force said this is what we want, and this is where we need to go to get it, and Old Takoma Business Association and the city picked up the ball, and they're running with it right now. It's really exciting.
That's great. And Kay, I want to be the first one, if no one else has already thanked you. Thank you very much for all the hard work, all the passion and dedication that you put into making it a success.
Oh, you're welcome. You're so welcome. It's just Takoma Park is my passion. You know, a lot of people are saying, you know, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? I said, Takoma Park is my passion. I'm doing Takoma Park.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
I'm here with Tibabu Asefa. Thank you so much. I know you have been here in the community. You've learned a lot about Kay during your time here with her. You had an interesting perspective tonight. You know, you said that at first you initially wanted to go to her family, to her brother and to her husband. But then you thought to also come here because you felt that her spirit lives here in all of us, in this city. Can you talk to us about that?
Yeah. You know, I'm originally from Ethiopia. In my culture, when you hear the loss of a beloved one, you will drop everything that you were doing at a time. And as natural, you go to the house, to the home of the beloved. That's where you sit with among friends and family to mourn the loss of the beloved. And I've left home a long time ago, and I live in a different culture. I've adjusted to a different way of expressing. But when I heard about the passing of Kay, my mind and my heart went back to my original indigenous culture, because the feeling that I have for her is so deep, deep and related to me in a deeper level. So my first instinct was to go to her house, to her family, and then my mind drew blank, because Kay, I've known Kay, and I've shared my thoughts and my expressions and my conversations. All my relationship with Kay happened in our civic space. In fact, most of it, her vibrancy, her love, happened on that stage. And this is where the community feasted on her love and her concern and her vibrations. So it was very appropriate for me to come here, because every corner can remind you of what Kay lived for and how Kay lived it, and then being among our community members who felt the same way. So in such a way, she lived in our community. We were her family, and she gave every bit of her love to each and every one of us. So it was very magical and wonderful for me to come and sit in the company of the many who were touched by her. So that's what I was trying to express.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you for your time. We're glad to have you here, and you know, her memory will live on.
Yes,
especially the contributions that she made to the community.
Oh yes, actually, she's going to be, as I said in my remarks, her face will be etched in my soul as a reminder of the promise we keep to be nice to each other, and she's a beautiful symbol of that promise to keep. A smile, hello, and a hug. And I will dearly treasure her. I feel honored to have known her, and I feel very honored to keep what she is all about in my heart.
All right, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
We will hear more. We will hear more from Susie Ludlow. Stay tuned. I'm here with Deputy City Manager Susie Ludlow. Thank you so much again for being here tonight with us.
Well, this has been a real privilege for me to be able to participate and be here tonight when so many people said wonderful things, true things about Kay Daniels-Cohen, who's a fun member of council, very serious about what she wanted, but you didn't know it because she was so lively and happy, and And then you realize, well, yeah, but she really is serious and she really wants this stuff. And she was able to get the other council members to go along and appreciate what was special about Takoma Park, and then the steps that she wanted to see to make whatever improvements. So it was nice hearing the people here saying all those same things.
Susie, something that a lot of people are going to remember her for are for those gold stars.
Right.
Do you have a fond memory of her that you can just tell us about, you could share us with?
Well, I do think that the gold stars meant a lot. I'm glad I got one once, so that made me. It did make my day because I was in special company. But she would. One of the things that I liked is she would give it to, the regular people in the staff that do their jobs, and I thought that was just really special. I really appreciated that small local businesses that otherwise didn't get a shout out got that from her, and she liked the newsletter, and she liked the recreation department, and everybody was like, well, yeah, those are cool things. Yeah, we like them too. So I guess that was, I think that's a shared feeling by a lot of people because they saw that on the dais. Personally, she would come to my office when I was acting city manager and talk with me about what she wanted, and she was so supportive and really helpful. In a chance to sit down one-on-one, she's very smart. She knows a lot about management. It was nice to be able to hear her experience from being a recreation manager years ago, and it made a difference. I really appreciated her counsel. So, you see the fun side, but she knew what she was talking about.
She will definitely be missed here.
She will be
her
missed.
Colorful spirit and her very energizing personality, very infectious.
Right. I think she found me kind of boring, but she was a really important part of the council.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, Susie. We'll be back with more. Kay Daniels-Cohen. She is the council member for Ward 3. Now, this is her first time actually being a council member and parading in the 4th of July Day Parade. How are you feeling today?
I feel great. It's my first time as a council member in the parade. I started doing this parade in 1950. So I've been in almost every one from 1950 till today. Only today I'm an official. The rest of the times I was riding my bike as a kid or something like that. And I'm feeling great. It's a great day for a parade.
Well, explain to me, what do you have on today? I see that you are very spirited, very pride in the 4th of July today. And so I just want to know, these are necklaces here. And
necklaces. I have necklaces. I've got the Constitution as a shirt. It's just my sign that says who I am. Like I said, Ward 3 rocks. That's my ward, and just as much blue as I can have. And I rode a bicycle. So I rode a bicycle, not have a carbon footprint for this moment in my life.
And getting plenty of exercise in.
Yes, plenty of exercise.
How has it been your first time being on the board? How is that so far?
Oh, it's fabulous. I mean, I really love doing the parade this way because you're up close and personal with the people. I mean, you're right on their toes as you're riding your bicycle. So yes, it's been awesome. I'm thrilled to have been elected. I'm thrilled to be representing Ward 3, and I'm thrilled that they're as involved in the community as they are.
Well, happy 4th of July. We are so thankful to have you here with us, and we'll be back with more interviews. I'm here with Buddy Daniels. You're her brother, and her only brother. Is that correct?
That's correct. That's correct.
Okay. I'm so sorry for your loss. I know it was a tough time for you and your family, but you've come out and you saw the outpour of support that you got from the community tonight.
Oh, absolutely. Tonight was phenomenal. Just phenomenal. The support, and you said the outpouring. has been unbelievable. Certainly within the last year, the support of the community has been unbelievable. Our neighborhood, certainly Sherman Avenue, Hancock, the SS Carroll neighborhood has been unbelievable. I mean, they've brought us dinner a number of times. You know, they've helped us sometimes with the cats. They helped my brother-in-law with the house a little bit. They've cut the lawn. And in the last 3 weeks, it's been fantastic. As I said earlier, the community, a number of the neighbors decorated the front yard, because that was always my sister's big thing, was to decorate for each holiday. And they've decorated the front yard for Valentine's Day. It was beautiful. It was fantastic. The neighborhood is very, very tight knit, and then I think that neighborhood extends out into all of Takoma Park. And we're talking earlier about the candles. One of our neighbors, I believe it was Ross and Beth Wells, came up with the idea, and we did this years ago with another neighbor that passed away, lit candles in the windows, and they did it again, and it started on our street. It expanded out to other streets. There were candles in windows all over Takoma Park. Then it expanded out across the country as people found out, you know, through the internet, from the East Coast to, we have relatives in Texas, people have relatives all over the country. It expanded out into California. It even expanded out into parts of Asia where people have relatives. It's just been incredible. And my brother-in-law, Jack Cohen, was showing me some of the pictures of the candles in the windows. So it's been actually going all over the world. So I've said in a way that the last couple of weeks have kind of taken on a meaning of their own. And it's just, again, the support and the outpouring has been so helpful and so phenomenal. And she knew it because Jack, her husband, would take in pictures from the internet that people sent in. People took pictures of, you know, the park named after my mom, Opal Daniels Park. They decorated that. Took in pictures of the front yard and showed her, and she could see that, and it really made her feel a lot better. So the community, this entire community, has just been outstanding. And tonight, wow. What an incredible program. And people were just so supportive, so realistic. And I know people maybe are hurting some. I know they're a little bit crushed. But as people said tonight, you know, Kay's still with us. So, and that helps a lot. That helps me a lot. And I know it helps my brother-in-law, Jack Cohen, a lot. And that people's support and caring. So,
there were a couple times during the program that you would lift your fist up. What did that symbolize to you? What was going through your head then?
Going through my head when somebody would say something that I really agreed with, or that Kay was a fighter. Right on. I mean, Kay was, we got it from our parents, both of our parents. A pedal to the metal, meaning full speed ahead, pedal to the metal kind of person. That's what it means. Right on. Absolutely, yes. I'm absolutely in support of that statement. And there were so many phenomenal things said about her tonight, which were frankly so true. And the funny thing is, saying that, I don't think she realized, and she and I had these conversations, how much the community loved her and how much they cared about her. I mean, she knew in some way, but I don't think she realized. It's tough because when you're in the middle of it, you don't, you know, when you're in the middle of accomplishing tasks, working with different organizations, working, like for instance, the garden, a lot of people worked on that. She was the catalyst. And she used to yell at me because sometimes when I would start an initiative, I said, well, a lot of people did this. She went, no, you did this. The people helped you. And I was saying the same thing to her. You know, she was the catalyst. She was the spark plug. And that's why I gave her the Spark Plug Award in 2009. And thank you again to the Takoma Foundation for letting me do that after she had gone through the first bout of chemotherapy. She still fought, she still worked, she still went to all the meetings, and she was a spark that made people want to go out and do things. And I think that was very evident tonight, that she cares so much about this community. I mean, it's in our DNA. We grew up here. We rebuilt our parents' house back in 04 and 05, and Kay and Jack, her husband, moved in, I believe, in the spring of 06. And it meant so much to her to be back in the community. Hey, this is Takoma Park. This is where we come from. So this is our home, and it's a very, very, very special place.
Definitely, that's definitely true.
It is, and it's special because it accepts people. It doesn't matter what your beliefs are, whatever. Takoma Park, in my opinion, has always accepted everybody, and that's the way it should be everywhere. But unfortunately, it's not. But here it is, and that's why she chose to retire here. That's why I choose to stay here too. Absolutely, no question about that. So.
All right. Well, the thing is with Kay is that she's definitely going to be remembered. I mean, she had an infectious spirit. Infectious. It's not going to go away anytime soon. I mean, she has the garden there by the police department. You know, and whenever anyone walks by, they're going to think of her. I mean, she's made so many great contributions to the city.
She always, and that's just the way she is. Whatever it was, whether it was here or whether it was elsewhere. And it is nice because I park down there when I come to meetings, and every time I walk by that sign, I just walk up and touch it. And it means a lot. And you know, with a park named after our mom too, Opal Daniels Park. It's just how it is. It's just kind of, I don't know what to say, but it's in the DNA. You know, both parents were like that, and Kay was certainly an incredible, incredible character. So, and she inspired people. Her enthusiasm inspired people, and she was a lot of fun to work with because we worked on a number of campaigns together. Besides here in Takoma Park, and it was quite enjoyable. And the most fun was working on her first run for council, running around campaigning. We had a lot of fun. So.
Well, she was definitely admired by so many, as we saw here tonight. I know during this time of mourning, I just want you to know that this is also a time of celebration. They all came out here tonight to celebrate her life, and she will definitely be missed. And I know that she's living there inside of you, inside of all of us, inside of this great city.
That's what it's about. I mean, that's who she was, and that's what it's about. It means so much you saying that, and I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, because her spirit definitely lives on. Like I said, and like was set up tonight, she's a pedal to the metal kind of person. It's just how it is. And if she saw a problem, she'd do her utmost to right it. I mean, Kay didn't ask why. She asked why not, and why not now, with her sparkly shoes on and her sparkly hat. As I said, she could land, with all that, she could land airplanes down at Reagan National Airport. But she was very special, and no, she'll be missed. But you hit it right on the nail, right on the head there. Her spirit lives on. She started something here in restarting the Recreation Committee, and I know both my parents will be very proud because my mom helped start the Recreation Committee back in the 60s. So it was very special when I was watching that happen. It was incredible. And we both come from recreation and ran public pools. So we both believe very strongly in recreation for everybody. You didn't live in my house and not believe in recreation for everybody. So.
All right, buddy. Well, thank you so much. We're going to continue on to see more clips remembering Kay.
In my ward, let's see, completing the sidewalks in the Pinecrest area. We got it started about 2 years ago, and it kind of feels to me like it got a little bogged down. And also completing the I don't want to call it a tot lot anymore because I think the tots are growing into almost preteens. No, I'm kidding. But giving them a playground of some kind over in their area. That's some of the issues. Safety,
making sure that people, for some reason, all of a sudden they're not feeling as safe as they used to. And I think we have an incredibly good police department, and they're just the best. So just communication, making sure people know that we have a full-service police department that's really here to take care of us.
Okay, well, Mayor, you work closely with Kay. Is there any thoughts that you would like to say for her family, or any fond memories that you have of her?
First, I'm channeling how Kay always dressed. I think her favorite colors were red and blue, so I'm wearing red and blue. And she always had interesting socks. I've got colorful socks right there, with sneakers that I don't normally wear, that are very Kay sneakers. And then she always wore pearls, fake pearls, and so I have my fake pearls on. And so what I think about most when I think about Kay is her joy, her enthusiasm, and her persistence. No matter what she was doing, and she was always doing something, she would take on projects and she would see them through to the end. And if she had to get up and beat you over the head, she would do it. And she would just keep coming back and back and back. And she persisted in that even during this last year when she was getting so very sick. And we always knew that she would try and come to a council meeting. If she couldn't come here, she would try and participate remotely by phone. When she did come here, a lot of times the treatment had made it so that she had lost her hearing, and she used hearing aids, and she did whatever she had to do to make sure that she could be here for the residents of Takoma Park.
I became acquainted with Kay because of the Safe Routes to School 5K Challenge, in which she participated every year. And even last year when she came with her entourage of pushers, because she did the race in her wheelchair. And I was a little disappointed that she didn't wear her red sequins high-top sneakers, but at any rate, I was very happy to see her there, and that year and every year. And not only did she come to the race, but she promoted all of the Safe Routes to School events throughout the community. And so what I need to say to Kay is big huglets to the Kayster.
You know, Man Up and of course myself, we're very sad at her passing. To be honest, in Takoma Park, coming here, Kay was really the first person or member of the community really to reach out to us and kind of extend a hand of friendship to our organization, even before we knew her, even before she knew much of us, which is uncommon. Oftentimes I'll see in communities people to reach out to each other without having any common interests, but she saw what we were trying to do. She saw the program, and she was always very friendly to us and very inviting us into the program. The 4th of July parade, which I know she prided herself on, our very first year in existence, 2009, I think she offered us a chance to be in the 2010 parade, and we were. And that was one of my very fond memories of Kay, just being so enthusiastic about being a part of that and really being so interested in having Man Up and our program be part of that community effort. And I really did appreciate that that push she gave us and that really love that she showed us and offered our organization and people we work with, because this is not something you see all the time. At least I haven't seen it often. So to have that, we really appreciate it, and having her attached to Man Up really helped us throughout these years. So I appreciate it. She will surely be missed and be definitely thanked and always in our hearts. Thank you, Kay, very much.
Takoma Park has been so lucky to have Kay. My goodness, her incredible joie de vivre. As a poet, I particularly loved her annual participation in the Come Read Your Favorite Poem event. She would have a poem and she would read it with such gusto, And when you read your favorite poem, she would just take it in with such obvious delight. I really am glad to have experienced her joie de vivre and her ability to be completely present, serious as well as playful. You wanted to be in the same room with Kay.
Yes, she was a wonderful council member for our city. She was like a sister to me. And I found out recently she had passed away last Thursday, I mean. And I was a little upset last night. I could hardly sleep for a while because I remember I was thinking about her at the meeting. She'd come in. I'd always be getting a hug from her. I'd always say, "Come on, Kay, time for a hug." And she'd come over and all the time and she'd give me a hug. And after the meeting, a lot of times I'd give her a hug. And I noticed that as time went on, she started getting sicker and sicker. And I started worrying about her a lot. I hear her coming in on her crutches. And I was so grateful to hear her voice out here. And I hope that she used to always give the gold stars out to the different people around the city and the different agencies and organizations. And that was so great to hear her. The big gold star, yep, I remember that. And for a while we had a big gold star sitting on her seat where she used to be council member, and I hope they keep that there until they get a council member replaced. But I'd like to give my condolences to her family, to her friends, and to the entire city of Takoma Park and all the people that knew her, because she was a wonderful person, a very wonderful person.
We close with an excerpt from last year's Takoma Park Safe Routes to School 5K, where some friends and neighbors pushed her wheelchair to complete the race. Now that Kay has reached that finish line, she is the one who, as a friend and neighbor, is pushing us with all the example, the motivation, and the encouragement that she gave us.
I will speak with my loud outdoor voice, baby. All right, this is a poem that was written for me in 1981. I know some of you in here, when I say glass ceiling, will know exactly what I'm talking about because it was very low in 1981. It's much, much, much higher now. I'd worked for the Jewish Community Center for 10 years. I'd been an assistant aquatics director, an assistant physical education director, and on the departing of the director, I applied for the job. Well, the then executive director said if anybody wrote another letter of commendation for me, he was not even going to consider my position. So what happened was the glass ceiling was low and someone else got the job. I knew there was no place for me to go at that place, and I loved the JCC. I loved the Jewish Community Center. not quite as much as I love Takoma Park, but I loved it. So this was on my going away party. And, you know, as I read through it every so often, not a whole lot has changed. I think those of you who know me who are in the room know that not a whole lot has changed since then. So it's to Kay. And I've shared this with anybody but the people, all the people that were at the party that day. Maybe I didn't get the job because I was also dressed like Rainbow the Clown on my roller skates. That's a possibility. So we've come together to say goodbye to Mrs. Gefilte Fish and all the little munchkins, to the all-time undefeated champion of the Hanukkah quiz, to no problem, I'll do it, whatever it is, to howdy do and how are you, to cut off jeans and rainbow socks with suspenders to match, to ladybugs and snoopies and clowns, to Kay, to warm-up suits and bangles, to gold chains, to balloons and crepe paper streamers, to certified card-carrying Looney Tunes, to 40-foot paper rolls stretched out in the back hallway, painting the last awe in Hanukkah, Chinook, to long-forgotten verses of There Once Was a Union Maid Who Never Was Afraid, to sea bees and flowers and sunshine, to Kay, to purple leotards with matching skirts. Is purple a Jewish color or a Goyish color? To pepperoni pizzas, to teaching 28 classes, no problem. To all the long hours and all the long years, the laughter, the howdy-doos, to the dreidel days and kinder games, toddler gym, fantastic gymnastic, kidnastics, nifty-nerfty games, and the Women's Health Club, making it all work, no matter what, for the J, to K. To laughter and friendship and smiling through the hurts, to kindness and warmth and caring, to Dr. K's first aid clinic, always open, to the Schwizzle, to our certified card-carrying one-of-a-kind original, because once in every great while, some one of us really is indispensable, to Kay. And I thank you all so much for listening to that from me. It was May 18th, 1981, a long time ago.